Welcome back, everybody. It's me again, the Golden Inquisitor, and I've come to present you, my fellow Tarnish and lore enthusiast, with a theory. A theory here of Radagon of the Misbegotten. And I know it sounds crazy. I know a lot of people are gonna click left. If you're still here, if you stay till the end of the video, I really appreciate it. But I will present some stuff that hopefully helps this theory hold some water, because I think it really does. I'm probably 60% on board with this theory. But if you're not, let me know. If you are, let me know. I mean, I would enjoy to hear what you have to say, right? So the theory, this theory, I it popped into my head on stream the other night, and I've been working on it. I've been trying to work it out, right? And the more I work it out, the more it seems like it fits. So the theory starts with Bach, the destroyer. I mean the seamster, right? And it's amazing. Look at this guy. This guy is, he's not like the other demi-humans that we find, right? He's wearing a little hat. He's got a little, what is that, a shawl or a little cape, a belt. He speaks to you. He seems to articulate himself better than I do. And he talks about being turned into a tree and stuff. And that's always made me wonder, why is this guy so significant that somebody would change him into a tree? Why would they hide him? And then I started, then the idea occurred to me that in the world he isn't important, but he is important to the player. He's important to represent a narrative to the third party, us, to the meta, right? Fourth wall breaking type thing. If you understand what I'm saying, right? He represents an allegory of who? Of Radagon. Now I know that sounds controversial, but listen. It's not too crazy if you think about it. What do we know of Radagon or Radagon? What do we know? We almost know nothing of his past before he shows up in Liurnia, right? He shows up at the head of a great golden host, right? Like Muriel says.
He came to these lands at the head of a great golden host.
And that is the extent of the background that we get, right? We don't anything else. I mean, Mesmer, maybe, maybe, but that we're not talking about Mesmer's lineage here. We're talking about Radagon. And I know there's other theories out there. There's the theory that he was the champion spoken about in the champion's grafted great sword. I forget who pinned that theory. I believe Jack is a mimic. I think his one of his theories is that Radagon is a mimic, and I'm on board with that one. About 85%. And then there's this one. There's so many, right? There's so many. But one thing I'm 100% do not believe is that Radagon and America were always one, right? I do not believe that not for 1 second. And the reason I don't believe that, because it's low hanging fruit, and for me, FromSoft and Miyazaki, they don't tend to do the low hanging fruit for any reason, man. You better reach up real high, or I guess real deep. If you believe the iceberg, whatever, right? But since we talk about trees, reach up high. So, all right. So, what do we know about Radagon, and what do we know about Bach, right? So the first thing we know, let's start with mid-level fruit or low-hanging fruit, right? Bach is a seamster, right? And we know this because it's in his name. You give him these tailoring tools. You go to him to change your outfit designs, and then it's part of his quest line, because he wants to be like his mother and stuff like that. He's a seamster, that's his thing. That's his whole identity, basically. But who else was a seamster? Radagon. Radagon was also a seamster. We can tell by the golden tailoring tools, also by the golden sewing needle, that he liked sewing, just like Bach. Connection to me, that's connection. And there's a connection there because it's the same thing, but you can also give it to Bach, right? If you wanted to stretch the theory real far, you could say that Bach is the reincarnation of Radagon, but we ain't gonna go there. Anyways, Bach's storyline is an allegory, right? It's an allegory to Radagon's story about a creature, a misbegotten, as we know, who ascended into godhood, right? And the reason I say that Radagon was a misbegotten, because we know, if you look on the Fextra Life wiki, look in their notes and stuff, somebody somewhere, I don't know if it's in the game files that I can't get access to, the misbegotten, right? They're known to what's it say, to be children of Radagon, or Radagon, sorry. And that makes a lot of sense, right? Or the winged misbegottens are called the Radagon chimeras, and we can see these misbegotten, the big ones, right? The big guys. We see them holding, having, one of them definitely is really close ties to Radagon, because he has the great sword, the Golden Order great sword, that looks like this. What is it? I can't think off the top of my head. The Moonlight Greatsword, I believe was what it was called. That was gifted to him by Rennala, and then he changed it using the power of the Greater Will, I guess, or the Elden Ring, to change it into the Golden Order Greatsword. No, my phone. Anyways, so there's a lot of things, right? A lot of connections there. You see a lot of the misbegottens. Some of them, or if you go to the Radon Festival, they're protecting Radon's corpse along with a Crucible Knight. So it's another representation of the Crucible Knight representing Godfrey and the misbegotten representing Radagon. They're protecting Radon. They're protecting the world, or whatever, from whatever's coming from the skies, or maybe the Crucible Knight's working for. Or it doesn't matter. What we do see is that they're together representing the Elden Lords, right? So they're there. They're at significant places, or if not significant places, they have significant items that are in lore heavy, especially with like the grafted greatsword that I said before. Let's see what else. So we know that I guess in the Japanese version, or in the game files, that the misbegotten are called X of Radagon, or Radagon, or whatever. So we know there's a connection there. There's meant to be one. They also have red hair. When we see that when we fight them, we see that when we kill them, right? But we know Radagon had red hair. Had red hair. He had red hair, and we know that from Turtlepoke.
Lord Radagon was a great champion, possessed of flowing red locks.
And he hated his red hair. Oh, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Wink, wink, gingers. Anyways, what's wrong with red hair? Nothing. But Radagon is said to have hated it, right? And we know that because of the giant's red braid. Right here it says Radagon was said to have despised his own red locks. Now, I know I've said before, and maybe on stream, I'm not sure if my other video said, but I hold the stance that you can't really trust all the item descriptions, because if because of the phrase was said to have or said to be, it represents a third party information, and it could be corrupted through word of mouth or anything, right? So it's not verifiable, first party information, right? But at this point, this right here, even though it is third party, we know that it was true because of this. Yes, and what you're seeing is unmodded, because I don't use them. Radagon is a blonde. When he is Elden Lord, he has blonde hair. You don't believe me? Well, let's go look at the other ones. Everywhere you look, every statue of Radagon that is known to be Radagon the Elden Lord, not the Hooded Man or anything like that, if you believe those theories, but the ones that are Radagon the Elden Lord are all blonde hair. But how would he get blonde hair? Because he used the Great Rune of the Unborn. He used a Laurel Tear, right? You need both of them to transform. And in doing so, he got rid of his accursed, as he saw it, red hair and became the golden Radagon of the Golden Order, right? And then he rules as Elden Lord. He gives the amber egg that has the rune to Renala, and and that causes those that live in death to start to rise. And then that's another video that I have, right? But if we go to Bach, let's get back on track. If we go to Bach, and eventually, if you do his quest line, he'll eventually ask to have a larval tear because he wants to, remake himself. He's not happy with his life. He's not happy with his appearance and things like that, right? And you can give it to him, right? You can give it to him, and then he'll go and use the larval tear. We don't know how he learned about it. We don't know how he learned about where Renala is or anything like that. But what is known that he does have the knowledge of it. So you can give it to him, and he can go see Renala. And my character already had done it, right? And so I had to have my assistant here, the beautiful Callisto, go show us what happens after he uses the larval tear, right? Oh, look at that. So you find Bach, right? You find Bach, he's human. He's human. Who else would have turned human? A Radagon. A Misbegotten turning human. It isn't just about like changing the larval tears aren't just about changing your appearance, but it's about changing your essence of like completely who you are, right? He dies, which he dies from, I guess, being heartbroken. But this is the fate. This is the fate of somebody who's not happy with who they are, I suppose. And you could say that that's what happened to Radagon. He used the larval tear. His life as a Misbegotten ended, and he started a new life as Radagon. And then when he used it again, trying to always perfect himself, because the Golden Order was supposed to be perfect. It wasn't. He could never perfect himself, and he ended up, you could say he died, but then you could say that the silver tear or the larval tear took over America. I don't know. Well, we do know that the copy does pass into becoming the genuine article. Who's not to say that, they lost themselves. Radagon lost himself to this rebirth, to a mimic. There's that cut content where your own silver tear or mimic or whatever tries to kill you at the end. That's another allegory for what we see with Radagon and That could be the allegory between Radagon and America, that one. But since it's so close to giving away the secret of the game, I mean, it was cut. I mean, you don't want to give away everything, right? You want people to speculate and theorize, and you can't give them too much. But I think that the box storyline about someone who started from nothing, was given the chance to become great, he took it and became a champion, and in becoming a champion became a king consort, and from king consort to Elden Lord, and from Elden Lord, he didn't stop. He was like, if life and fate have given me this much, maybe he saw something in the stars when he was with Renala. Maybe he saw himself as Elden Lord, as the one god of the Golden Order. But he didn't know that it wasn't him that he was looking at, but a silver tear that had taken over. Who knows? But and we know that these silver tears, or these larval tears, they're sentient. They're part. They become part of you, and they eventually take over. One, because of we know from the content. Two, from Night Rain, Wilder's questline at the end. It transforms you and becomes part of you until it is you. And for the lore enthusiasts out there that are going to call me out on this scene, how do I reconcile this? You're probably wondering. Well, the only way I can reconcile it is to believe that the silver tears, the mimics, the larval tears aren't as good at replicating as we're led to believe. I mean, we have this example, perhaps, but we definitely have the example of Renala. So, yeah, that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the theory. If you got any questions or comments, leave them. I'm listening. I'll read them. Let's see what else. Oh, and once again, I'd like to give a shout out to Jack as a Mimic. Without him inspiring me, I would have never made my first video. So, yeah, go check out his stuff. Amazing stuff. Amazing good. I don't know who he is. I don't get anything out of this. He just makes great content. And I think, yeah, you should watch it if you don't. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for getting to this point. I'll see you next time.